The exciting journey of starting our fruit farm on a homestead has begun, and we've had to do a lot of prep work to get the fruit orchard on its way, including building a wire fence to keep the friendly neighborhood cows, pun intended, out of my fruit farm. Hi, it's your girl KOREWAA. If you've watched any of my recent videos, then you know that my husband and I recently acquired a piece of land which we intend to develop into a self-sustaining homestead here in Ghana. And one of our first goals is to establish a fruit orchard big enough to feed ourselves, an immediate family, and still have a lot left over for us to share with our extended family, friends, and neighbors. So that is the plan. Okay, so we've cleared the portion of the land where we intend to establish the fruit farm. We've built an underground water reservoir which will irrigate the fruit farm all year round. And in this video, I want to walk you through some of the other processes we needed to go through in order to be able to plant our fruit trees. Kindly like this video and subscribe to the channel. And now, let's go. One of the recommendations that Garden Boy gave after he visited the land was to build up the soil by adding nutrients and rejuvenating the soil a bit before we start to plant. If you don't know, Garden Boy is the gardening expert that we consulted with to help us with this fruit orchard. This land sits on a hill and the soil is quite rocky beneath it and a bit dry, so we needed to fix that. So the first order of events was to apply fertilizer to the whole area. To accomplish this, we ordered 250 50 kg bags of dried chicken poop, so chicken manure. However, we later realized that we needed about 400 to 500 bags to cover the land size that we currently have. But at this stage, we just had to make do with the 250 bags that we got. So after the manure was delivered to site, we were all pumped and ready to get started. Garden Boy and his team got to work spreading the manure all over the land. A couple of bags were offloaded at different areas of the land to make the work a bit easier for the men. And then they proceeded to empty the chicken manure all over the space, spreading it out as best as possible. They kept working until all 250 bags of chicken manure was spread all over the designated land for the fruit farm. About a day or two later, we got a tractor to come and till the land. In essence, mixing the manure into the soil. This process only took a couple of hours to complete, and then we left the manure and the soil to get acquainted and let them work their magic. After the stage, it was time to plan the layout of the fruit orchard. My husband and I had made a list of fruits we wanted on the orchard, and in my mind's eye, I knew exactly what I wanted the orchard to look like. So I came up with this class 1 drawing to make it easier for Garden Boy to understand the layout we had in mind, and also to let him know where we wanted each fruit to go. So soon after, it was time for Garden Boy to once again come out to the land to translate what I'd given him on paper onto the homestead. There I was trying to look all busy and useful, but I soon acknowledged that I am not a very good garden DIYer, and so I was very happy to see Garden Boy and his team arriving. I'm still learning. I have my own small garden going on at home right now, but I must admit, as much as I dream of being self sufficient and growing tons of food on this homestead, gardening does not come easy to me. So I am just going to have to take it one step at a time and learn to enjoy the process as I go. So back to the homestead. The project for this day was mapping out where each fruit tree was going to go per my layout and preparing the holes for planting. We started by pegging and lining, then taking the exact measurement of where the holes were to be dug. The gentleman then dug out the holes which were to be filled with some more nutrients for each individual fruit tree as per Garden Boy's recommendation. Garden Boy, can you kindly explain a bit?
So here, as we spoke earlier, we'll be doing some soil treatments, introducing to the soil to boost the pH level as well, raise the nutrients level in the soil. So there we have black soil, which already contains some organic matter to add some nutrients to the soil. As well, we are putting in oyster shells, yes, grinded oyster shells, which is going to, boost the calcium level of the soil and give the plant some ions. We also have organic chicken manure, grinded charcoal, and some. I already mentioned oyster shells, right? So good. So that's the soil treatment we are having, and as you can see, we are digging some trenches along the lines. So that's where the trees are going to be planted. So they'll be filled in the holes and left about 2 weeks for it to fertilize the land before planting resumes. So that's what we are doing for today. Alright, so here's one of the trenches we just dug where the transplant or the seedlings will be going, and ideally I prefer it to be a foot or more. So here we have about 1.5 feet width. I think it will be ideal for the roots movement in the ground. So as we fill this part of the soil mix, we just saw up the being mix, it gives the ground a very soft base where the roots will be able to grow and network well with the soil to be able to absorb the nutrients in the soil. So this is the required depth of hole we need to start with our transplants. Yes.
So after the holes were all dug out and the different nutrients were completely mixed together, each hole was filled with the soil mix, and we were almost set for planting day 2 weeks later. But there was something very important that needed to be done first. I'd spotted some cows grazing on the grass in the neighboring fields each time I visited the homestead, and so I wasn't going to plant the fruit trees just to have them mowed down by cows. So we decided to put up a wire fence to prevent the cows from getting to the trees after they were planted. At some stage in the very near future, the whole property will be fenced in with a block wall. But before that happens, I needed to get this cow protection done. Or is it fruit protection? Anywho, so I contacted my bearded friend Mr. Abodre once again, and we got going with the fence. I purchased the materials needed for the fence, then the welders did their part of getting the round pipes cut and welded to size. We already had sandstones and water left over from the water reservoir project, so all I needed was cement and we were good to go. Apodri and his team did a good job of lining and installing the fence beautifully, and my soon-to-be fruit farm finally had the protection it would need against the cows. So after the fencing was done, we were good to get the fruit trees all planted. But that is an update for another day. Like this video pretty please. Garden Boy from Grow What You Eat's contact is showing on the screen and in the description box below. Contact him for all your gardening needs, big or small, and see you in the next video.